The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development, with a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives. At The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. So we're going to play a 5-minute video about my story, my journey, and I suppose it explains it better than I will, and then I'll just start my presentation. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Bernardo Moya. I'm the founder of The Best You and author of The Questions. And unfortunately, my father passed away at the age of 54. From an early age, I realized that I had to take responsibilities that I probably wasn't prepared for. It was a big crash. I didn't really understand the consequences of me not having a father, and I spent my life really looking for the father figure. If I fast forward a few years, I then got into real estate, and at the age of 26, when I already had my son, the first real estate came. I remember I had lots of people knocking on my door, all sorts of people coming round, looking for money, because I literally had to close my company down. And all the savings I had in this big box of chocolates, and we had these 100 peseta coins, which is the equivalent to a pound. When I took the last coin out, which the penny dropped, as they say, that was it. I bought my son a tin of lentils from the supermarket, and that was it. That was all the money I had. And so I started in timeshare, and I was very lucky because I literally turned things around. Within a couple of weeks, I was making £1,000 a week. So I then went to my second entrepreneurship. I went to the second time to rebuild my real estate business, and I did. And I was refurbishing properties, redecorating properties, building them. I built this up, but then again, another real estate bubble. And this one caught me in a really bad way because I had tasted wealth. Okay, I thought I was rich. Luckily, I was already on a journey of self-discovery. I was already very interested in professional growth. I've been reading books for many, many years. Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Jack Canfield, you name it. But it was NLP that really put me on the map. NLP that really positioned me to start understanding about my thinking, about becoming aware of my thoughts, and really focusing. So when this real estate crash was coming, and it was coming bad, I dealt with it in a way that I didn't deal with it before. And that's where I started commuting from Spain to London for 3 years, and I started a completely different career in personal and professional growth. Did I have any idea about running personal development events? No idea at all. I was very passionate about it. I loved it, but I was good at sales and marketing. I could speak languages. I remember speaking to my wife and I said that I want to do this, and she said to me, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because if not me, then who? And if not now, then when?" And that was it. I went for it. So I went to London with an open mind in looking at how I could potentially become the best version of myself, but also how I could help people. And I did that for 10 years with NLP Life Training, working with Dr. Richard Bandler, Paul McKenna, and some many great people. And it's been beautiful to see how through these trainings, we've trained over 25,000 people, how we've managed to help and enhance people's lives. But 5 years ago, I had my own questions. I wanted to come up with my own brand, and that's where I came up with the idea of The Best You. Now, I share this normally. I could have called it The Average You, The Crap You, but the idea is that wouldn't work. And it doesn't work because everyone wants to become the best version of themselves. Of course they do. So I wanted to create a platform where all these great thinkers, authors, leaders could share their ideas in a place where, you could connect, you could go and find them. If I wanted, and I wanted to summarize kind of my journey and all this that I've shared with you now, I've shared it in my book, The Question. Because with all my NLP training, with all the people that I've interviewed, all the people that I've worked, all the people that I've been connected to, I've really identified that it is down to thinking. And it's simple. But the fact is, it really shocks me and scares me that so many people don't think about what they're thinking about. So my book, The Question, really talks about that, about us becoming aware of our thoughts, about asking ourselves empowering questions. Because I believe that if you do that, if you do ask yourself empowering questions, you unconsciously, you're going to start finding these beautiful solutions. You're going to start asking yourself these questions that need an answer. Because people go through life without asking themselves these empowering questions. That's what I've learned, and that's what I share in my book, and that's what I do with the platform. So I would love to help you. I'd love to explore how, either through the platforms that we have, how you might be able to find inspiration with some of the people that I've interviewed or some of the stories that I've shared. I'd also love to work with you. There might be an opportunity for you to be able to speak at the Best You Expo. There might be an opportunity for us to work together through the Best You Legacy Club, where you could become potentially a director. There's many ways that we could work together. Look, I know I can't do this alone. No one can do it alone. We all need help. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to reach billions of people around the planet. Not millions, billions of people. And we can do this. And we can do this if we work together. If we work and we focus on the important things in helping individuals find their purpose, helping individuals really identify what their legacy is. Everyone has to ask themselves this question: what am I here for? And you have to do that before it's too late. So I want to thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Hey, thank you. Welcome back. So I just wanted to show you that very quick video that was produced last year. And it kind of summarizes my journey. As I said, I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, for 35 years. And I got late into personal development, late as far as in the business. I was always very intrigued, and I studied the greats, Robert Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn and all these great people. So I was always very interested in personal development. As I said, NLP is that really got my attention. And what NLP gave me a set of skills. It gave me a set of skills for me to be aware of what I needed to be aware of. I remember standing in the middle of the room, and I'm 36, 37, and all of a sudden I'm learning these amazing techniques, which I thought, well, why am I learning this now? I mean, I remember standing in the middle of the room, and I was aware, and I was thinking, why am I learning this now? And I was aware for the first time of my thoughts and how to change my thoughts. And listen, I'd done so much training. I learned sales skills, build rapport, mirroring, all those things that you learn, and, selling, communicating, but I never actually really understood how to think. And that's what the NLP gave me. That's what it gave me. And it gave me something, it gave me a lot more than I was expecting. So we've got some slides here, which I'm going to just load up and just take you through some of my journey, some of the information, and let's just make it smaller. So it's big enough. And let's just have the presentation slightly smaller. Thank you. Perfect. Great. So next slide, please. And then on the next slide, basically what you're going to see is just literally a little bit my story of the people that I've worked with and all the different kind of people that I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. Now, with the Best You, I came up with that idea, that platform of the Best You. And the Best You was always about building a brand that could connect with people, a brand that could help people really identify and find ways that they could technically and basically become the best version of themselves. I started identifying that there was a lot of people within the personal development world that really wanted to share some phenomenal expertise, but it was a very fragmented one. I didn't see the platform that could really help everyone. I saw Robert Kiyosaki doing his thing and Tony Robbins doing his thing. I saw all these people doing their things, but I didn't see a platform, an Amazon of self-help. So I came up with this idea. Well, what about the Best You? And I started Googling, and I never saw a brand like it. And I thought, well, wow, let's create it. Let's come up with it. So a lot of what's actually evolving now, a lot of things that have happened over the years are things that I came up with or I thought about maybe probably 6-7 years ago. So I started with the Best You magazine, and then from the Best You magazine, I created the Best You Expo, and then the Best You Expo, I then created the Best You Online, and the Best You Online, then I came up with the idea of the Legacy Club and the awards and all the different things. And obviously the TV was one of them. The TV was something that I wanted to create a long, long time ago. So it was always my intention to create a brand that could be global and could be multi-platform. So a lot of what you're seeing today, I came up with around 6 years ago. But I've always had this thing, and I think NLP really helped me to really think big. And I talk about that. If you're going to think big. Why? Because you want to. Let's make the screen. Let's make the presentation a bit bigger now. And I've worked with so many great people. When I came up with the idea of the Best You Expo, well, literally, it'd never been done, and it had to be anti-niche. It had to be a platform that really allowed anything and everything related to personal and professional growth. It had to be everything under the roof. And so I wanted spirituality. I wanted business. I wanted to talk about love. I wanted to talk about relationships. I wanted to talk about yoga, meditation. So we always created all these rooms. And I talk about the Best You Expo, which might seem now, hey, listen, but the first expo, I didn't sleep for 4 months. I wasn't able to sleep for 4 months because it was such a challenge. I had, at that time, 3-4 breakout rooms. We had around 50 speakers, 50 exhibitors. I had to hire a big conference hall, which obviously meant and required everything. You had to build the whole thing up for 2 days. And that's what we did. And the first expo, I remember, although we had around 3,000 people, 4,000 or 5,000 people pre-register, I went out to the door and I shared that story that I went to the door to see how many people were there. And there was only like 3 or 4 people. There was only 3 or 4 people. And I go, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I was thinking, is it too late? Is it too early to go to a bar? Because I was thinking this is just too much, all the work and energy that I put in. But luckily, people started coming in. Slowly but surely, people started coming in. And we had around literally 3,000 people. Expo number 2, we had around 4,000 or 5,000 people. Expo number 3, I swore I'd never do it again. And then we had around 12,000 people. And the last expo that we did, I shared this story that I went out to the door to see how we were doing. It was running a little bit late for registration. And all of a sudden, there was at least 2,500 people waiting in the queue. 2,500 people. It was just absolutely gobsmacked. And it just literally, I just was not expecting so many people to be there. And I remember I was so nervous. I was just so, I just didn't know what to do. And I remember I ran in. I should have done a photograph or a video to keep that momentum, but I was just so nervous, so excited. So we went from that to 14,500 people. We had 9 breakout rooms in that one, 180 speakers. Let's just load all the speakers. We had all the people there. And I've had the pleasure of working with so many great people. Jason Vale, Dave Asprey, Jim Quick, Paul McKenna, Barbara De Angelis, Marie Diamond. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And now I think we've probably promoted around 1,000 speakers. So I did an event in Long Beach and, the rest, well, look, I was going to run another 2 events in 2020. We were going to run one in LA and one in Texas and Dallas. And look, here we are. The new reality kicked in and all of a sudden the Best You Virtual Expo is virtual. It's just all over the place, but it's virtual. And, it's a different business. It's a different business to what I originally anticipated. I'll play the next slide, please. So I've had the pleasure of working with some great people. And when people ask me how many times have I wanted to give up? How many times have I wanted to give up? Well, you know what? I can tell you thousands of times. Thousands of times I've wanted to give up. I've wanted to give up so many times. And the reason is because, like everyone, I'm not made out of steel. I just keep pushing. But then, I say, Bernardo, why do you do this? Why do you keep pushing? It's just too much. Take it easy. And I remember my team has always said to me, Bernardo, I remember I had this story, so I was at the Best You Expo, the first expo. And I remember I had this event manager, we're sitting outside, and I remember finishing. And I said at that time, I said, look, next year, we're going to be doing this. And she said to me, Bernardo, she spoke to me like that. She says, you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic. And I remember saying to her, says, look, we all establish our own reality. We all establish our, for me, the expo was always too small. I wanted to have hundreds of thousands of people. I wanted millions of people. And that's kind of where we are. That's the opportunity now that we have to try, to doing it and connecting through television. So I've wanted to give up 1,000 times in anything, in so many things, in so many projects, in so many businesses, with the expo, with the Best You, with everything. And when I do these events, I always realize why I do it. People say, hey, listen, you're a visionary, you're a leader. Thank you for doing it. But yeah, but why doesn't someone else do it? Why doesn't someone else do it? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. But you know what? I love it. I love the ripple effect that this may have. You might have seen a speaker today. You might have heard someone at the Best You Expo. You might have connected with someone. You might have met someone that has changed your life. You might have won something. I don't know. But I just think that we need to do more. We need to be more. It is said that we live in a world our questions create. And it's true. Those that have succeeded in life, those that stand out, those that have made a difference, those that are inventing, those that are exploring, pushing the boundaries of reality are based on those that have asked themselves empowering questions. In my new book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, I help you find your true purpose, find your legacy. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. So as far as I'm concerned, obviously mindset is important and thinking is important. So next slide. So what I wanted to explain to you is obviously with my experience in NLP, and this presentation is about asking questions. NLP enabled me and allowed me for me to appreciate and to understand the importance of obviously your internal dialogue, the importance of your voice. I was always a very positive, resilient guy. I failed a lot of times. I can't even tell you how many times I failed. In how many businesses in 35 years, how many projects I've done. But I've always thought massively big. But what NLP gave me, it gave me a set of skills where I started becoming aware of my thoughts and how I could change them and how I could make really big pictures that could be massively bright. And I've always understood and appreciated the importance of asking yourself questions, empowering questions. So that's what this presentation is about. Next slide. So what I intend to share with you here today is to teach you, hopefully, for you to start asking yourself quality questions. Because a lot of people have the most negative language in their mind. They say terrible things to themselves. They look in the mirror and say, oh my God, how ugly are you today? Or how much weight have you put on? Oh my God, you're such a failure. That's the kind of internal dialogue they have. And what you need to do is, like all the successful people have done over the years, is ask yourself empowering questions, quality ones that are going to get you going. Hey, how can I become better? How can I think bigger? How can I get hundreds of thousands of people to attend my event? Not 4,000, hundreds of thousands. How can I do that? So this presentation is about teaching you how to ask yourself quality, empowering questions. Next slide. So there are many people out there. Many people. There's so many people. There's 7 billion people out there. Billions and billions of people. And you're the type of people that are there? Next slide. The type of people that are out there are those who love excuses. Now, let me explain that. So people who love excuses. Now, I read one of the best books I've read is Dr. Schwartz, Thinking Big. And he defines it in that book, calls it excusitis. People have this disease. People have a disease called excusitis, where they just love coming up with the most terrible excuses, which no one believes. They don't believe themselves. So there's a lot of people out there that have really, really, really terrible excuses. And someone defined excuses, I think it's actually in the book. An excuse is a way of you defining and telling someone how incompetent you are. If you're coming, I couldn't do it because I just didn't have any time, you're incompetent. You're just telling that you're not capable of doing something. Now, something can be true and there could be a reason why you didn't, but 9 out of 10 times, a lot of people just come up with excuses. So there's a lot of people out there that love excuses. Don't be one of them. A lot of people that are complainers, they love whinging, as they call it in English, love whinging. They just complain and complain and complain. Oh my God. And they just complain and complain. Complaining is negativity. Let me just tell you, complaining is negativity. If something's wrong, do something about it. And if it's happened, it's happened. Move on. There's nothing you can do. Complaining doesn't help. So complaining doesn't help. And the other thing is negative people. Just slow down a minute. Just negative people. Okay. So negative people, there's a lot of negative people out there that just literally are negative. And my hashtag is #no negativity. So there's a lot of people that are negative. And my advice to you is if you have someone that's negative, get rid of them. If their family will listen, you can talk to them less. If they're friends, well, hey, find a new one. Don't have negative people in your life. Unfortunately, you have to be ready to drop a lot of them along the way. Okay? Just drop a lot of them along the way. But do me a favor, don't be one of them. Don't be one of the ones that comes up with the excuses, that is just literally complaining all the time, and that is absolutely negative. Don't be one of them. Next slide. So the idea is that you have to embrace and you have to be grateful. I think, especially in a time like now, what do you have? Well, you know what? You have internet. You have electric. You have a camera. You've got eyes. Hopefully you've got arms and you've got legs and you can breathe and you're healthy. Hopefully you've got a roof over your head. Hopefully you've got people that love you. You've got clothes. You've got something to go to the supermarket and pay for some food. Every morning, every day, every opportunity you have, and Ken Honda was talking about that yesterday, be grateful.
Be grateful for everything that you have. Wake up every single morning and be grateful for what you have, because there's billions, not millions, billions of people that would give up everything to have what you have. Everything. Billions. So stop complaining. Stop being negative. Don't be a whinger. Don't come up with excuses, and be very, very grateful for what you have, especially in this time. I've lost, and we probably all lost. I've lost some very valuable friends last year, and my mum, and I'm gutted. Very grateful to have them in my life, but we're alive. So be grateful. Find the things that you're grateful for. Think about the things that you're grateful for, and thank God, thank the universe, thank yourself, thank your family every single day. So embrace that. Next slide. The important things that I think are the following. What is important is, well, a lot of things are important in life. And one of the most important things, and this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning of my video, is thinking. You see, a lot of people don't think about what they're thinking about. They just don't. They just wake up in the morning and they come up with some random thought, and they just never seriously think and think, hold on, what am I thinking right now? Is it positive? Is it helping me? What am I thinking about? So spend time thinking about what you're thinking about. And when you start or find or become aware of you thinking about things that are negative, then start channeling your thoughts towards the things that you want. Well, these are my goals for this year. I'm going to write a book. I can see myself writing a book. I'm going to make some money in stock. I'm going to invest. I'm going to study something. So think about the things that you're thinking about. Because the quality of your thoughts depends. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Next slide. Next. So that happens with questions. Okay, you need to ask yourself empowering questions every single day. I always find, okay, so how can I do my next project? How can I do an expo that's going to talk about love? And what kind of subjects would I talk about? And who would I bring? And what format would it have? Would it be global? Where would I do it? So see, these are empowering questions that I'm asking myself about an event that I want to do. And by me doing that, I start visualizing, I start seeing it, I start putting all the pieces together, and then all of a sudden it becomes a reality. So questions, how can I become stronger? How can I do more exercise? What would get me to do more exercise? How can I be more loving? How can I be kinder? These are questions, quality questions. Next. And that starts and happens by you becoming aware. So if you're aware, and start thinking, oh, well, a lot of people, well, I don't have that internal dialogue. I don't have it. Well, yeah, that's the one. The one that's saying you don't have it. We all have an internal dialogue. We get up in the morning, we look ourselves in the mirror, we might say something. We're in bed, we're thinking, we might be thinking something. But become aware. Start becoming aware of your thoughts. Meditate, think, stop, pause. Because ultimately, what you need to be doing, like everyone, is hopefully becoming the best version of yourself. You have to. You're obliged to become the best version of yourself. Because ultimately, hopefully, you will leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy. We want to leave a legacy. We want to leave something great behind. And you need to leave a legacy. You're amazing. You have a phenomenal set of skills. You are inspirational. And it could be inspirational to your son, to your kid. Is there anything more important than that? So we all can leave a legacy. You can inspire something in your children, in your friends, and your loved ones that can change the world. So what is your purpose? And by you asking yourself empowering questions, you're going to start thinking about, what am I going to leave behind? What is my legacy? What is my purpose in life? Ask yourself that every single morning until you know exactly what you want to do. If you don't know what to do yet, and if you do, follow it through. Next slide. In my book, I talk about a lot of things. In the book, the question, and I'm going to give you a copy at the end of the presentation. In my book, I talk about resilience. And resilience is one of the things that there's 3 R's here. The resilience, revolution, and reinvention. And the 3 R's basically come with the idea of studying, reviewing, researching, and looking at the most successful people on the planet. They have these common denominators. They all have. Every single person has. They're all resilient. They have this inner strength where they know that they're capable of doing anything. And they don't care about the environment. They don't care about the economy. They don't care about anything. They just keep going and keep going and keep going. So the biggest conquerors, the biggest thinkers, the biggest inventors, they've all thought and asked themselves empowering questions. What's on the other side of the ocean? How can I climb a mountain? How can I get to the moon? But they were resilient. They wouldn't give up until they found the way. And a lot of them welcome change. You see, we're going through a dramatic, massive change right now. There's a change, there's a revolution on the planet happening. Things are changing. It's changing. The Industrial Revolution happened, the Agricultural Revolution, the Educational Revolution. And thank God they did, because if not, we'll still be living in caves. So these changes are good. And the moment you start seeing as revolution as something that's great, change is great, well, listen, you're going to embrace it, you're going to love it. And you're going to start seeing the opportunities. And the other thing is reinvention. So many stories of so many people. Harrison Ford, Oprah Winfrey, Martin Luther King, so many people reinvented themselves to become who they are. And at any age, at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, it doesn't matter. It's never, ever, ever too late for you to reinvent yourself. Never. So those are the 3 R's. These are the 3 traits of successful people. And I go into detail into each and every one of them in the book. Next slide, please. So how can you, this is my question to you, how can you make a difference? Now, Jeff Hoffman was talking today. He says, you know what? You want to feed 100 people? We'll start with 1. You want to change the world? We'll start changing your world. Start changing your world, your immediate family around you. So how can you make a difference? Because you see, everyone can make a difference. Everyone. If you can't change the world, you can start changing your world. You can start changing the people around you. So how can you make a difference? That's my question to you. How can you, and how are you going to make a difference? Next slide. What are you willing to do? What are you prepared to do? Because this is like people that want to go to the gym. Well, they don't want to go to the gym, actually. They want a 6-pack. They want to lose weight. They want their biceps and all that, but they don't want to go to the gym. No. As Jim Rohn used to say, no. You have to go and work out. You have to do the exercise. So what are you willing to do? What are you going to do to make a difference? What are you going to do to become the best version of yourself? What are you going to do? And that's the thing, is I've seen a lot of people that read all the books and they attend all the courses and they attend all the workshops, and then they make all these notes, and all these notes live in a note planet, and no one uses these notes. It's only about action. It's those that take action. It's those that actually go for it. So what are you willing to do? Next slide. At the end of the day, next slide, please. At the end of the day, it's about you. The best you, a better world. You see, I think each and every one of us, as I said, are obliged to become the best version of yourself. If you become the best version of yourself, if you become the best you, and that's why I came up with the concept of the best you, because I want people to, it's a common word. People say, oh, I want to become the best. I want to become the best you can be, the best you can be. You hear it. I'm sure you have. And a lot of people say, why do you want to work with the best you? Because the name, because they love it. So the best you equals a better world. Because if you're a better individual, if you're a better human, if you're a better mum, if you're a better dad, if you're a better boss, if you're a better brother, if you're better anything at everything, the world's going to be better. And ultimately, together, we can empower and educate. And that's the thing. The thing is, you see, I wanted to create the best you so we can go and make the world a better place, because the world is messed up. The world is messed up into so many different ways. And I'm going to cover some in a moment, which I cover in the book. But the best you is the key thing. You have to become the best version of yourself. Don't be selfish. If it's just, and I'm saying just, if the only person you can inspire is your kid, is that not good enough? Look, my kids probably think I'm a lunatic and kind of think, well, what am I doing? What is he up to now? Well, you know what? Hey, listen, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for them, but I'm doing it for everyone else. I want to help people. I want to inspire people. But I want them to think that I carried on pushing myself. Next slide, please. Thank you. To find out about my latest projects, get a free coaching lesson, or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com. So the best you, a better world. And my question is, what is your legacy going to be? What will your legacy be? What are you going to leave behind? When you leave and people have to talk about you and they're going to say things about you, what are they going to say? Oh, he wanted to write a book, but never did one. Or he wanted to change the world, but he never got around that. He wanted to be a great dad, but no, that didn't happen either. What are they going to say about you? What will your legacy be? What are you going to leave behind? Ultimately, you, me, us, all of us, we all need to become the best version of ourselves. I mean, if we do that, we're going to leave something behind. We've messed the planet up for the kids, for the younger generation. And hopefully now they're going to fix things because, we haven't. And hopefully us still, we can do something about it. And that's what we need to do. We need to ultimately explore what our legacy is going to be. Next slide. This is a question I keep repeating in the book. I keep asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. What are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? What is it you are going to do? And ultimately, again, if it's a question you ask yourself, what am I here for? You see, that's an empowering question. What am I here for? What am I going to do? How am I going to make a difference? How can I inspire other people? How can I really help people around the world? How can I write my book? How can I inspire my kids? I don't know, whatever it might be. What are you here for? What is your purpose in life? Next slide. Jeff Hoffman shared this with me. There is no they. And I love it. And it's so true. You see, there's a lot of people say, oh, they will sort it out. They'll sort it out. There is no they. Let me repeat that. There is no they. You and me, we're they. Me, you, us. We're all they. We have to do things. And I said Jeff Hoffman because he's a tremendously inspiring man who's obviously is very wealthy, but he's creating wealth around the world. He's creating entrepreneurs around the world. He's creating, inventing, he's supporting, he's educating people around the world. And it's not because he's a millionaire, which, hey, he might be, but it's because that's his passion. He wants to help people. So there is no they. You and I are they. We have to take care of things. Next slide, please. And the world needs leaders, because if you look at the leadership nowadays, this is not a political message. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing, the quality of the leaders that we have in running our countries all around the world. All around the world, black, blue, red, yellow. I don't care what political party they are. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, they are absolutely appalling leaders. A lot of times it's because they've never run a business. They've never employed anyone. They've been social workers or whatever they are. But the bottom line is the world needs leaders. You need to step forward. People need to step forward, because there is no they. There's no one else who's going to come and sort this out. We have to. Trust me, I would rather be on a beach, writing, doing whatever I want, than actually having to run these events and promote all these things and put thousands of speakers on the platform, because it's very stressful. I've lost all my hair. But the world needs leaders. So I'm hoping to find inspiration. I'm hoping to inspire people to step forward, to take action, because the world needs leaders. If we put hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs, inspirational educators out there teaching the youth, the younger generation, to not mess up the planet like we have, to not do the things that we are doing, to talk about social equality and everything else I'm going to be talking about in a minute, well, it's going to be a better place. So please, you, me, us, all of us, take a step forward. Next slide, please. So I believe that's what I was saying is that the best you, a better world. The world has some serious issues. The planet is messed up, but in so many different ways. And I'm only listing a few in a minute, but we have so many issues. And the only way we're going to deal with it is if we create this phenomenal army of inspirational people that can teach all the skills that people need: how to speak, how to make money, how to keep money, how to find love, how to become more confident, how to build a business, whatever it is, whatever the skills that we decide to share, which are so many, and so many inspirational people are doing on a daily basis, writing books and speaking on events and things like that. But we need to get that to more people. So then we can start really addressing the issues of the planet, the issues that we have. Next slide, please. And there's a lot of them, okay? And I'm just going to list a few. Just a few. There's so many. Poverty. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. There's 6 billionaires that own more money than hundreds of countries around the world. Poverty has to be eradicated. It can and should and has to be eradicated because there's billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. And there has to be a redistribution of wealth. I'm not a socialist or a communist. I'm just saying it's not acceptable. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to make money so I can help more people. There's nothing wrong with that. But poverty has to be addressed. Hunger. Do you know the amount of people that go to bed without a meal every single day around the world? Hundreds of millions. How many kids are starving because they've got no food? It's not acceptable. What are we doing about it? Not much. Not enough. There's some great NGOs out there, some great people doing some great things. Those are the people that we need to aspire, to inspire, to help, to be part of their mission. Next. Slavery. There's some staggering stats. Again, it's all in the book. Slavery. You know, there's more than 35 million slaves around the world. More than 35. Did you know that? And a lot of them are kids. Kids working in mines. Women who are being prostituted. You know, it's just kind of like slavery is a big, big thing. It's unacceptable. Next slide. War. So many countries at war. So many countries at war fighting over what? Because interest of two different people or two different countries because they want the gold or they want the whatever. War. Next. Gender inequality. This is a big thing. We just had a panel and we were talking about women and love and a lot of people, families and women that are in, in terrible relationships, living, being terribly abused. Gender inequality. But apart from that, in gender inequalities is that women don't have the rights that men have in so many countries around the world. It's not acceptable. Men, we men, we need to appreciate, understand and embrace and help women to come to the forefront because women are better leaders. It's a fact. The only countries I've actually dealt with COVID, I think they're all countries run by women, but they run it better because we've been doing a terrible job. So gender inequality is a big thing. So us men, we need to teach our kids. We need to teach, we need to teach our sons and we need to teach our daughters that they have equal rights to everyone else. Racism. Racism is a big thing. Racism as well. There's so many racist people. There's so many people that are just racist. It's not acceptable. And it's true, a lot of people that actually are racist and they talk about Muslims or they talk about black people, they've never met one. They've never had a relationship or a friend or they never even attempted. Racism is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's not acceptable. Extinction of wildlife. It's just terrible. Thousands and thousands and thousands of species die every single year. We're killing elephants, hundreds of elephants every day, and rhinoceroses just to take. It's again, the extinction of wildlife. Next. Reducing plastic. There's so many documentaries recently, obviously, around plastic. Do you know how much? I think you need 8 gallons or 8 liters of water to create 1 bottle of water, and then we just chuck it away. And we don't care. Someone, they will pick it up. Someone will recycle it. Find a way that you don't have to use plastic bottles. Find a way. There's something you can do about each and every one of these things. There's something that you can do if you cared, if you want to care. Now, you can ignore it and you can leave the planet and say, you know what? I didn't really care. Well, that's what's going to be in your opinion. That's what they're going to say. You didn't really care. And it's not acceptable. Reducing plastic is a big thing, and I think, again, it's terrible. Global warming, which a lot of incompetent people are completely ignoring. Please just have a little walk around the planet. See how many fires are on, how many forests are being devastated every single year. The wildlife is disappearing. See how, all of a sudden the seasons are all over the place and they're saying global warming doesn't exist. I would stick them in the middle of a snowstorm. That's what I would do with them. It's just, seriously, what is wrong with people? And a lot of people are ignoring it. You know why? Because it's money. It's finances. That's why they're doing it. Next, please. So the thing is, at the end of the day, what you need to ask yourself is, well, I'm going to ask you, what is your question? What is your question? Now, I hope you have many questions. I'm not hoping you have one. I hope you have many. But what is your question? And I would hope that at the end of this talk, you sit down, you get a pad, and you start asking yourself empowering questions. And the first one is, what are you here for? Which you should ask yourself, what am I here for? What is my purpose? What am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to make a difference? How can I inspire my kids? How can I change the world? How can I be part of the solution? So you need to ask yourself empowering questions. You need to ask yourself empowering questions, questions that make you feel uncomfortable. You see, a lot of people don't ask themselves a question because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. When are you going to ask yourself the questions? When you're literally in your deathbed, when you've got days to live, and you're going to be asking yourself, "Oh, I should have done that. I should have." Too late. Ask yourself the empowering questions now. What is stopping me in me achieving whatever it is I want to achieve? Is anyone stopping me? Am I just full of shit? Excuse my French. Am I just not brave enough? Am I not capable enough? Don't I believe in myself? Ask yourself those strong, empowering questions and then direct them in the place, in the direction that you want to go. Next slide, please. So I have been giving the book away, but ultimately this presentation is about you being more. This presentation is about you being more. It's about you being the best you. The title of the book is The Question, Find Your True Purpose, but it's ultimately about you being more. You being able to become the best version of yourself. And although I wrote the book, obviously, with it, ultimately, I wanted to be translated into many languages, and I would love it to give me some royalties. You know what? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, what I would like to do is I would like you to give you the opportunity to download the book, because I hope it helps you. I hope it inspires you. I hope it asks you some question that really hurts. So that bloody Bernardo asked me a question that really got me going. I hope that's what it does. So for anyone and everyone that has registered to the expo, you would have got it in your booking confirmation, or you would have got it in the thank you page. If not, you've got the link there. You could just simply go and download the book. It's the audio version. Please don't copy it. Don't burn it. You can just listen to it. And then there's a page there where you can just put some comments from Facebook if you wanted. If you have an account on Amazon, then leave me a lovely review, or in Audible or whatever, if you wanted to buy the physical book, which I highly recommend you do as well, because you can make notes in it and everything else. Well, great. Leave me a review. There's a chapter in the book where I talk about honesty, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you love the book, please tell absolutely everyone you know. If you don't like it, don't tell anyone. No one. Let's have the full screen now. Thank you. So you've got my details there. Let's have the full screen. Thank you. So basically, I just wanted to make sure that, at the end of the day, when I've come up with this concept, this idea, the best you, well, look, the book is something that I worked on for quite some time. I put it together in February last year, and I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I put a lot of work, a lot of love and energy into it. And it's what I believe in. Now, a lot of you might not like it, might agree, might disagree. Hey, with love and with respect, I'll take it all on board. I simply want to make sure that I have put my finger in your eye, that I've given you some tough love that has hopefully, potentially given you some thought-provoking ideas around the things that need addressing. This is a revolution. The revolution has to be around the idea of each and every one of us becoming the best version of ourselves, and each and every one of us doing something about it. Doing something about it. Be part of an NGO. Sign up to an NGO. Go and work. Go and train in South America. Go and speak to people. Hey, do you need help? Go to the beach. Pick up plastic. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Do something. Do something. Because if we all do it, if a fraction of us do it, we're going to make the world a much better place. So I want to thank you so much. I want to thank my team. You've got my information there. My webpage is bernardo-moya.com. Obviously, there's the information of thebestyou.co. You can always go to info@thebestyou.co, info@thebestyou.co if you want to send me an email. I hope you've enjoyed the talk. I hope you've enjoyed The Best You. It's been a beautiful journey. I know I'm like 10, 15 minutes ahead of schedule, but we're going to play a few videos, and we'll be back on the hour. Thank you so much.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.